At the beginning of the story, a truck carrying red sandalwood is traveling in the dark of night, and the police are chasing it. Not long after, the police catch up with it and force the people out of the truck. A young man gets out of the truck, and he tells the police that he will pay $10,000 to let them continue their journey. The policeman doesn't listen to him and pulls the young man's shirt collar, saying that he can't bribe policemen like them. After saying that, the young man starts attacking the police, and the policeman falls to the ground, but another one comes and punches him. As he said before, the young man tells the police that he will pay $20,000 to let them continue their journey, but when the police refuse, they attack again. Even though the young man says he will pay $50,000, the police still don't accept it and continue to attack. At that moment, a policeman comes and points a gun at the young man's head. And they got the young man and took him to the camp. But when the young man tells the police he will pay $100,000, they stop arresting him and release him. The young man's name is Pushpa, and one morning, while they are resting after work, his employer arrives. While the other workers pay respect to their employer on site, Pushpa doesn't even care, sitting on a chair and eating tea and bread. The manager tells Pushpa to treat his employer with respect and tells him not to behave like this, but Pushpa refuses to accept it and says that he can't pay respect to anyone unnecessarily as he is doing his own work and eating his own food. A man is listening to Pushpa and the manager talking from the sidelines. The manager asks Pushpa to leave the job as he is afraid of getting into trouble with the employer. When Pushpa leaves, the guy who is listening by the side follows him. When Pushpa arrives home, an old man is shouting at Pushpa's mother to pay back the debt she has taken. The old man says to Pushpa's mother that even with a chubby and strong son like Pushpa, she can't repay this little debt. Pushpa's mother tells the old man that her son is working in a factory and that she will pay back the debt next month. The old man seems to know that Pushpa has quit his job and says that her son will never get a wage from the factory. Pushpa's mother doesn't even know that her son has left for work, but when the old man tells her, she asks Pushpa if he really left for work. Pushpa goes into the toilet without saying anything, and the old man says that he will come again tomorrow morning and that she must pay the interest at that time and leaves. The next day, Pushpa sells a buffalo and repays the old man's debt. After paying the money, the old man prepares to go home immediately, but Pushpa still doesn't allow him to go back. Pushpa beats up the old man for humiliating his mother in front of many people and forces him to tell the people that Pushpa has paid back all the debts owed to him. In the evening, workers are being taken to do an illegal job that will pay thousands of dollars, and Pushpa goes with the truck to get a lot of money. There are many people in the truck, and the truck is driving through a large forest. When they get to the forest, they get out of the truck, and at that moment, it starts to rain. Pushpa's team enters the forest and starts cutting wood. At that moment, a police car enters the forest where they are, and the watchman blows his whistle and signals Pushpa and the team. The others, fearing the police will catch them, leave the wood behind and prepare to run away, but Pushpa tells them not to run away but to do as he is told. Soon, DSP Govindappa arrives, and he is a police officer chasing people who are illegally selling red sandalwood. Even though the police come near them, Pushpa and the group pretend not to know, and when they ask what they are doing in the forest, they are only told that they are herding the sheep. Pushpa is grinding his axe on a stone, and Govindappa asks why a shepherd is holding the axe. Pushpa replies that he is holding an axe, ready to kill the tiger if the sheep are dragged by the tiger. Then, he confesses that he has hidden red sandalwood in the forest. Govindappa pulls the collar of Pushpa's shirt and asks where the woods are hidden. When Pushpa doesn't answer, Govindappa points a gun at his head, and at that moment, Pushpa's friends approach them with their axes. Pushpa is not afraid of being shot by the police officer and says, Govindappa's gun has only 6 bullets, but his friends have many axes in their hands. If he is really brave, shoot him. Just like that, DSP Govindappa can't do anything and leaves the forest. When the police return home, Pushpa and his team retrieve the hidden woods and load them into the truck. While Pushpa is washing his hands and feet in the stream, Kesava arrives and says he wants to live with him as a brother. Pushpa says that he owns nothing but cigarettes, and they introduce each other. And they agreed to try together and make a lot of money. Just like that, while their group is still selling wood, the police come again. Then Govindappa tells them that they have 20 guns and 40 bullets now and that they can easily attack and defeat Pushpa's group. Pushpa doesn't say anything and pelts a policeman with a stone, and his friends are also pelting the policeman with stones on the ground. Govindappa scares Pushpa's team by dodging the stones that come at them and firing a gun into the sky. Pushpa and his group don't resist the police anymore and flee to safety. Pushpa drives a truck loaded with wood and runs away. The police forcefully followed his truck. At a certain place, they can't see the truck loaded with red sandalwood, only Pushpa can be seen on the road. The police ask him where the truck carrying the red sandalwood hides, but Pushpa pretends not to know. The police arrest Pushpa, and at the police station, they beat him with a stick and ask him where the truck is. Pushpa asks to get a glass of water, and when a policeman brings water, Pushpa tells them to drink water lest the people who beat him get tired. Govindappa overturns the water cup and again forcefully interrogates Pushpa about where the red sandalwood is hidden. Pushpa says Govindappa can do as he wants as he is not afraid of anyone, but he doesn't answer where the wood is. Govindappa gets angry and starts beating him. Pushpa is still smiling despite being tortured. Just then, a police officer comes and asks what Pushpa's full name is. Pushpa replies that his name is Pushpa, and the police officer asks again what his family name is. When he asks that, Pushpa's smiling face loses its expression, and the police officer is interrogating him while beating him with a stick. When Pushpa is asked such a question, he remembers about his past childhood. His mother was abandoned by her husband and gave birth to Pushpa, who lived a life of poverty without a husband. Pushpa's father's family didn't even allow Pushpa to use their family name when he enrolled in school. They still harass Pushpa's mother by calling her a concubine. Pushpa can be named Pushpa without a family name. Pushpa is interrogated with all the questions, and the police send him home as a guarantor appears for him. When he comes back, his friend Kesava meets him, and while they are having breakfast at a restaurant, two smuggler brothers arrive who bailed him out from the police. There are 3 smuggler brothers, and the third one is Jaali Reddy. Jaali is a womanizer, and once he finds a girl he likes, he takes her, even if she has a husband. He is a scoundrel who does whatever he wants with money, and the second one is Konda Reddy. He is one of the wisest among the brothers, and he manages all the business by himself. He is Konda Reddy and the eldest of 3 brothers. Any person who opposes him is usually destroyed without being allowed to live. He lost an arm while attacking the enemy with a bomb in a battle. Konda asks Pushpa where the red sandalwood is hidden, and Pushpa says that he will show them where it is hidden if they pay 5 lakhs. Jaali tells his brother Konda to beat Pushpa without paying 5 lakhs, and they can forcefully inquire about the whereabouts of the red sandalwood. But his elder brother Konda doesn't agree with what he says and asks Pushpa to show them where the woods are. Just like that, Pushpa and the group go out into the forest, where the woods are hidden in a truck. In fact, when the police chase him, Pushpa throws the truck carrying red sandalwood into a lake. After retrieving the wood hidden in the lake, Konda gives Pushpa 5 lakhs and leaves. Pushpa offers to go with them in the car, but Jaali refuses and leaves, saying that once he has sex with a girl, he will never get back together.
What?
Pushpa is not satisfied and decides to buy the same car that Jaali drives with the 5 lakhs they get. Pushpa returns home in a red car, and her mother doesn't even recognize her son. The mother asks who owns the car Pushpa is riding in, and Pushpa replies that it belongs to her favorite son, Pushpa. Pushpa takes her mother in the car and brags by driving his own car in front of his father's house. They are interested in how Pushpa is able to buy a car, and Mohan accuses Pushpa of stealing money from others and buying a car. Pushpa drives a red car and goes to work at Konda Reddy. While the other people are sitting, Pushpa doesn't sit. Kesava asks why he doesn't sit, and he replies that he doesn't want to stand up again when Konda Reddy comes. Soon after, Konda Reddy arrives and beats up those who handed over the red sandalwood to the police. Pushpa tells Konda Reddy that he has a way to export and sell red sandalwood without the police knowing, and if he wants to know that way, he must order the people in the room to leave first. Konda Reddy asks the others to leave as Pushpa says, and when all the people have gone out, Pushpa explains in detail how to transport the wood by truck. The method Pushpa will use is to load wood into a truck and pretend it's a milk truck. Just like that, on the first day, Pushpa himself drives the truck, and Govindappa checks the truck that arrived as usual. But, finding no wood and only milk, they let Pushpa go without arresting him. In the evening, Konda tells Pushpa that he will pay 5 lakhs for a piece of red sandalwood, but Pushpa says that instead of taking 5 lakhs, he will do it for 4 lakhs, and it is convenient for both of them. Pushpa and his friend Kesava go to buy milk to export red sandalwood, but the old man's daughter tells them she can't sell the milk until she hears a sparrow chirping. But not long after, the sound of a sparrow comes out, and the girl gets ready to fill the iron pot on the truck with milk. Pushpa falls in love with the girl at first sight. Just like that, pretending to load milk on the truck, they are sending out red sandalwood every day. Pushpa is going to buy milk to put on the truck, and he usually meets the girl every day. 2 friends go to the market where the girl's milk is sold, but the girl doesn't even pay attention to him. One day, while checking a truck driven by an old man who sells milk, Govindappa finds red sandalwood. The old man tries to run away, but the police arrest him and try to forcefully beat him. The old man said nothing, but the man who comes with him says that they are ordinary laborers and that Pushpa forces them to work. Govindappa tells them that if they do as he asks, he will release them both. On the other hand, the girl that Pushpa loves and her friends come to the cinema to watch the movie together, but they don't have enough money to pay for the tickets. Pushpa's friend, who is waiting for such an opportunity, says that he will help them. But Kesava tells Srivalli, a girl from their group whom Pushpa loves, that she should have a look at his friend's face, and the girl agrees. At that time, no one notices that Jaali is peeking at Srivalli from somewhere. Agreeing to meet them at the temple tomorrow, Srivalli and her friends enter the cinema. In the morning, the girl arrives at the temple with her friends as scheduled. Pushpa turns to look at the girl, and he is very happy to see her looking back at him. The girl smiles at Pushpa, as she has promised. Pushpa follows the girl and asks if she is smiling, as she likes him. The girl replies that she doesn't like an ugly and disgusting man like him and that Pushpa's friend paid for the movie tickets last night, so she is smiling at him.
Emotional, damn it!
Pushpa gets very embarrassed when the girl says that and starts blaming his friend Kesava for doing that. Pushpa asks his friend how much he pays to make Srivalli smile, and he replies that it is $1,000. Pushpa tells his friend that he will give him another $5,000, and he has to make the girl kiss him. On the other hand, many trucks loaded with red sandalwood are driving along the forest road and stopping at a warehouse in the forest. Srinu and his wife come to the warehouse, and Konda Reddy asks why they are coming there. Srinu is a smuggler who makes a living by exporting and selling illegal goods. If he sees someone he doesn't like, he destroys them immediately. Srinu is currently worried about getting caught by the police before sending his sandalwood, and Konda Reddy tells him not to worry about that and that he can rely on Pushpa. Soon Pushpa arrives, and Srinu and his wife return home. When Srinu and his wife go back, Konda Reddy and his group bury a disaffected member of their group in the ground and shoot him dead. Pushpa, along with his friend Kesava, goes to the place where Srivalli has an appointment. The girls haven't arrived yet, and after a while, a car arrives at the appointed bridge. Srivalli is too shy to kiss Pushpa, and a friend takes her into the car where Pushpa is. When they get in the car, she is crying as she doesn't dare to kiss Pushpa when she is about to kiss him, and she says that she only wants to kiss the one man she will marry for the first time. When her friends hear Srivalli screams, they take their friend outside the car, and one girl asks what Pushpa has done to her friend. Pushpa explains to her friend that he hasn't done anything yet to her friend and that she herself is crying out of embarrassment. Srivalli and her friends return home, and Pushpa decides to marry Srivalli to get her kiss. When Pushpa arrives at the warehouse in the morning, he finds that the wood has not yet been exported and is still in the warehouse. The door of the warehouse is closed, and Pushpa breaks the door lock with an axe and enters the room. He sees a young woman inside. Pushpa takes off his jacket and covers the girl's body, asking some of his friends to take her home. Just like that, Pushpa asks to quickly take the wood out of the warehouse, and while preparing to move, Jaali arrives and starts looking for problems with Pushpa. Just then, a phone call comes from Konda Reddy, and as Pushpa prepares to answer the phone, Jaali attacks him. Konda Reddy informs Pushpa that the police have found out the address of their warehouse. At that time, Jaali hits Pushpa on the head with a stick. Pushpa thinks about how to hide the red sandalwood from the police and then gets a new idea. Handing over a lot of money from the car to Kesava, he gives his friend an important task. He then shouts to his friends nearby to quickly throw the red sandalwood into the water before the police arrive. Then he leads himself and begins to float many red sandalwoods into the water. Konda Reddy tells his brother Jaali to get out of the warehouse quickly, saying that if the police catch Srinu's wood, Pushpa will be blamed. Pushpa and the team are quickly floating red sandalwood in the water, and soon Govindappa and the police team arrive. When the police arrive, they pretend not to know, and they look all over for wood, but they can't find a single piece of wood. Pushpa's friend pays a lot of money to the sluice gate guard to let him retrieve the wood floating in the water. Govindappa is angry with Pushpa that things don't turn out the way he expected, and Pushpa says in the tone of a victorious warrior that he wins this battle even though he doesn't have a gun in his hand. Govindappa goes back to Pushpa saying yes, you win this fight, but you can't win every battle. At night, Srinu holds a party, and both Pushpa and Konda Reddy's team dance happily to celebrate their victory. At the party, Pushpa hears from Srinu's two insiders that Srinu cheated them of a lot of money and monopolized it. Pushpa tells Konda Reddy that Srinu has lied to them and raised the price and is selling red sandalwood, but Konda Reddy replies that Srinu is too powerful to resist, so he doesn't dare to oppose them. Meanwhile, Kesava is forcing the old man to marry his daughter in Pushpa, who is handsome and rich. The old man doesn't immediately accept, but after Kesava tells him Pushpa's paternal family name, he agrees to marry his daughter with Pushpa. The next day, Pushpa and his mother arrive at Srivalli's house, and his mother worries that things will not go well. Pushpa asks how Kesava tells the old man about agreeing to marry his daughter with him, and Kesava replies that he reveals Pushpa's paternal family name. Pushpa tells his mother not to worry, and soon Srivalli arrives. Just then Mohan also arrives and starts looking for trouble to Pushpa. Pushpa is about to punch Mohan, but his mother stops him. But Mohan reveals that Pushpa is not his father's real son and that Pushpa's mother gave birth to Pushpa with another man. Having said that, Srivalli's mother doesn't agree to her daughter marrying Pushpa. Pushpa can't control his anger and starts fighting Mohan by hitting him on the head. Pushpa's mother falls to the ground and injures her head as bystanders try to stop them from fighting. While Pushpa is taking his mother to the hospital, he remembers the past. When Pushpa's father died, they didn't even let their mother see her husband's face for the last time. Pushpa wasn't even allowed to go to his father's funeral, so he had to watch from the sidelines. When his mother regains consciousness, she feels bad for her son, who is always being bullied by people, and even says that it would be better if she drank poison and died before Pushpa was born. Pushpa is very hot in his mind and confides his feelings to his friend. His father's family forcibly confiscated Pushpa's possessions, including the necklace his father had given him as a birthday present. Pushpa says that from now on, he will not let anyone take what he owns again. On the other hand, Srinu and his brother-in-law are beating and abusing the person who comes to raise the price of wood. And that person is not satisfied with 25 lakhs per ton of wood and is asking for 50 lakhs. The man said that if Srinu and the others don't raise the price, he will go and sell it to someone else. At that moment, Pushpa also arrives, and in front of Pushpa, Srinu's brother-in-law kills the man by cutting his throat with a knife. Pushpa is not afraid of Srinu, even though he is killed in front of his eyes, and tells them to give him 1 crore for a ton of red sandalwood. If you don't give it, I will sell it to Chennai Murugan, who is buying red sandalwood at a good price. Pushpa makes a phone call to Murugan in front of them and tells him that he will not sell the red sandalwood to Srinu but directly to Murugan. Just then, one of Srinu's disciples starts attacking Pushpa, and Pushpa pushes him back. The rest of the people are kicked out until there is no one left, and as they attack each other, the roof collapses. But since Pushpa already has a gun in his hand, no one dares to fight back. When night comes, Pushpa and his friend Kesava go out to sell red sandalwood to Chennai Murugan, but Murugan's disciples are not allowed to meet their boss immediately, and Murugan comes to meet when Pushpa reveals a sample block of wood. When Murugan arrives, Pushpa lets many trucks loaded with wood enter and tells him that he has about 10 tons of wood. Murugan tells Pushpa to go and sell the wood to Srinu, and Pushpa replies that he doesn't want to go and sell to Srinu. Murugan is worried that Srinu will give them trouble, and Pushpa replies that he doesn't care about Srinu's group, which lied and cheated others, so he comes to sell the wood directly to Murugan. But Murugan doesn't accept immediately, and Pushpa tells him that Konda Reddy has come to send him, so he agrees to trade. But in fact, they don't come here as Konda Reddy sent them, they come of their own will. Murugan replies that he wants to talk to Konda Reddy directly, and Pushpa calls Konda Reddy. But Konda Reddy denies opposing Srinu and allowing Pushpa to trade wood with Chennai Murugan. However, he immediately accepts after being told that 1 ton of wood can be sold for 1.5 crores. Pushpa tells them to share the money in half, and Konda Reddy agrees to do so. On the other hand, Jaali beats up an old man who sells milk and another person who joins forces with the police and causes them trouble. Jaali beats and tortures the old man, and he finds out that he has a very beautiful daughter. Jaali goes to Srivalli's house himself and tells her that if she wants her father to return home, she has to sleep with him. When the night comes, Srivalli nicely prepares her clothes and body and goes out to Pushpa on her motorcycle. Srivalli tells Pushpa that Jaali has captured her father and is asking her to sleep the night with him. Pushpa asks why she comes to the house of a man who she doesn't really love, and Srivalli confesses that it is not what Pushpa thinks and that she has liked Pushpa since the first time she saw him. Pushpa asks Srivalli to leave, saying that it doesn't matter to him now. Srivalli doesn't give up easily and hugs Pushpa's body, saying that she wants to spend the night with the only man she loves for the first time, saying that Pushpa realizes how much Srivalli loves him, can't pretend anymore, and decides to save Srivalli's father. Then he goes to Jaali along with Srivalli and starts attacking with leg kicks. When Jaali tries to attack Srivalli, Pushpa quickly saves her and kicks Jaali's penis with his leg.
What?
Then Jaali shoots them both. Pushpa quickly dodges and hits Jaali on the head with a steel chair. Then he twists and breaks Jaali's leg, asking why he shoots them, and he twists and destroys the bones of Jaali's hands, making his body unable to move even a little. Kesava is worried that Jaali will go and complain to his brother Konda, and Pushpa says that no matter where Jaali goes, he doesn't care about anyone. Jaali says that he will not complain to his brothers and that he will settle the issue between him and Pushpa himself. Pushpa tells Jaali that you always look like a woman, and now you have become a real man. He then returns home, telling him to keep his promise. As Pushpa escorts Srivalli's father home, Srivalli kisses Pushpa goodbye before heading home.
Oh my god! Wow!
At that time, Jaali is taken to the hospital due to injuries to his body, and when asked who caused his injuries, Jaali doesn't answer. While Pushpa and Kesava are talking about how they beat up Jaali, Konda Reddy arrives. Konda Reddy asks Pushpa if the red sandalwood trees have been exported to Chennai, and Pushpa replies that the wood has been sent tonight and that the money will be withdrawn tomorrow. When Konda Reddy goes back, Pushpa and Kesava doubt whether Konda Reddy will hear what they are saying. In the morning, Pushpa and Konda's team return home after withdrawing the money. Halfway there, Konda's team covered Pushpa's head with a cloth and hit him with a stick. Konda reveals that he knows about how Pushpa beats and tortures his brother and that he is now going to kill Pushpa to take revenge for his brother's injuries. He then orders his subordinates to quickly take the money from Pushpa, and just as he is about to kill Pushpa by sending him to the pit, Konda Reddy falls to the ground when a gunshot rings out. Srinu's brother-in-law and his men arrive and start fighting each other. Pushpa and Jaka's team run into the forest fighting back with their guns, and the enemies continue to follow them. Pushpa fights back alone against the enemies who come after him and snatches a gun from the enemy's hand, aiming at an enemy with his gun. He orders him to untie the rope tied to his hand and shoots him dead when another one comes to attack him. Just then, his friend Kesava arrives and picks him up on his motorcycle. On the other hand, Srinu's brother-in-law and his team are fighting in the water with Jaka's team, and Jaka's team is defeated as they cannot match Srinu's team. When Jaka is about to be killed, Pushpa comes into the water on a motorcycle and hits them with his motorcycle. Just like that, Pushpa single-handedly defeats Srinu's subordinates and declares that he has come to stand by Jaka Reddy. After defeating all of them, Srinu's brother-in-law is tied up, and at that moment, Srinu calls him. When Pushpa picks up the phone, Srinu tells him to release his brother-in-law and that he will do whatever Pushpa wants, but Pushpa doesn't accept. "You should have called me 5 minutes ago, and now I've killed him," and immediately kills Srinu's brother-in-law. Pushpa then tells Srinu that there is no one in the world that he fears. Just like that, the dead bodies are brought to the village by car, and they are holding a funeral for the deceased Konda Reddy. MP Naidu and Srinu also came to Konda Reddy's funeral. Jaka prepares to fight Srinu, but Naidu stops him, and Srinu says to return his brother-in-law's body. Naidu asks Srinu how the problem started, and Srinu complains that Konda Reddy's group went to Chennai to sell the wood instead of selling it to them. Pushpa hands over the huge amount of money that comes from selling red sandalwood to Naidu, and he explains that he sells a tonning of wood at a price of 1.5 crores, and Srinu only pays 25 per tonning, and he monopolizes the rest of the money. When he explains that, the syndicate members are shocked, and he says that Srinu's group has started causing problems for their group as their group doesn't sell wood to them and that he has killed Srinu's brother-in-law in self-defense. Srinu is dissatisfied with Pushpa and prepares to shoot him, but Naidu stops him, and Pushpa explains to the others that Srinu has lied to the syndicate members and wants to take a lot of money by himself. When he explains that, there is no one to stand by Srinu, and Naidu himself stands by Pushpa and orders him to sell all the red sandalwood to Pushpa. Just like that, Pushpa sells a lot of red sandalwood, gets a lot of money, and finally becomes a rich boss. On the other hand, Srinu's wife is not satisfied with the death of her brother and cuts Srinu's neck with a knife. Just like that, Pushpa's wedding is about to start soon, and Pushpa's mother sends Mohan a wedding invitation. But Mohan doesn't even care and throws the invitation in the trash. Govindappa has resigned, and some people are dissatisfied with Pushpa and want to take revenge, but no one dares to touch Pushpa, who is already very powerful. In the same way, Srinu and his wife are watching Pushpa like this, as they don't have the strength to fight back against Pushpa. and one day a person who dares to fight against Pushpa appears. He is Shekawat, who has replaced Govindappa, and Pushpa invites him to his wedding. Pushpa bribes Shekawat with 1 crore, but he doesn't seem too impressed and counts the money. Even though Shekawat finishes counting the money himself, he doesn't immediately accept and asks to count the money again. Shekawat says that a thief like Pushpa and a police officer like him wear the same white uniform but are of different status, and he disparages Pushpa. He then handcuffs Pushpa, but he unties the handcuffs when Pushpa calls him sir. Also, since they are of different status, if Pushpa has something to say to him, he orders him to call sir respectfully, but without knowing why. Pushpa, who is always arrogant and proud, humbles himself and does whatever Shekawat asks, and the two of them get comfortable with each other. Just like that, the day of the wedding has arrived, and the bride is at the wedding, but Pushpa has not yet arrived and is drinking with Shekawat. When Pushpa gets drunk, he asks Shekawat why he insulted his mother that day, and he says that he has been quite afraid of hurting his mother. Pushpa then takes the gun from Shekawat's hand and shoots his fist by clenching. Pushpa's hands are dripping with blood, and he says that this blood is a legacy that his father gives him before he dies and that no one can come and take away that legacy. And he talks about how he comes to this kind of life after trying and struggling with an ordinary, lower-class life where he has been bullied by other people since he was young. Then Pushpa asks Shekawat to take off all the clothes on his body, and he himself takes off all the clothes. After the two undress, Pushpa continues to talk about how he starts his life from nothing and says that even if people see him like this, they will recognize him as Pushpa. But Pushpa says that if Shekawat goes out in this style, people won't recognize him as a police officer, and the dog won't recognize him as its master. After saying that, Pushpa says that he doesn't care about anyone so far, and then he doesn't even wear any clothes and leaves the wedding on a motorcycle. Just like Pushpa said, when he arrives at the wedding, people recognize him as Pushpa and all welcome him. With no one to welcome Shekawat, even the dog he raised and fed barks, as it doesn't recognize him as his master. Shekawat shoots the dog that barks at him and burns all the money Pushpa gave him. At the wedding, Srivalli is worried about Pushpa's hand being injured and asks what happened, to which Pushpa replies that people think he is a flower, so he proves he is a flame. Just like that, the wedding begins, and Pushpa says that no matter who comes and attacks him or who comes and bullies him, he will not surrender to anyone and give up. Pushpa, The Rise, Part 1, ended here.